My name is Santosh. My kids Niharika and Nakshatra are a part of Chitrakoota from 4 years. They're currently at N3 batch. 4 years back, our journey started with Chitrakoota, and we were searching for a good school, and we went to schools closer by to Nagarbavi, where we stay. And as a last resort, we found every school to be the same. And when we walked into Chitrakoota, right from the person at the reception, the kind of warmth that we received, the kind of reception that we received was quite good. And I knew from that moment that things are different here. And the induction process was slightly different from the other schools where you're actually sitting with somebody, they talk to you about the school, everything. But here, surprisingly, they asked us to come on a particular day. Surprise! This is not a usual way that it works out. But we took the challenge. So me and my wife came over and listened to Mr. Chaitanya. He talked about his philosophies and his ideologies about starting of the school and the way the school performs and functions. We took a tour of the school where we saw children sitting there. I was surprised to see children sitting there cutting vegetables in a classroom environment. It quite surprised us, and quite a lot of things that we saw kind of amazed us in terms of saying this is a kind of different school that we wanted to put our kids to. The moment I walked out of the school, I knew that my wife and me had mentally decided to put our kids to this very school. Then I started inquiring about the school with my friends in closest circles, and surprisingly, I found friends who independently talked good about the school, and their kids had actually were in the Chitrakoota environment. We talked about the Montessori environment, how it is purely Montessori, not like other schools, which kind of firmed up our decisions in putting our kids to the school. And so 4 years back, we stepped into the school. At the gate, when all the kids are crying, our kids too had a drop of tear in their eyes. But the moment they stepped in, they forgot about all that. I think that is the last day that I saw them cry or being fussy about getting into the school. Yeah, there are Monday blues when they get up. They say after 2 days of holidays. But the moment you talk about the environment, they say the kind of materials that they're going to use. You just have to pep them up, and then they're ready to go to school. So that's one really good thing about the school. Talking about the environment, I think each and every member that belongs to the school, right from the person who stands at the gate to the person who's reception or the people who are receiving the kids, they're so vibrant, full of energy, passionate, to serve the kids or the parents, ever smiling. So those are the things that actually makes you feel this is not a school, this is actually a family or a second home to our kids. And then that also certifies to say that my kids, my wife always says, my kids are safe in that environment. So safety, you give a lot of importance to safety, which is a really good what do I say, plus point for this school. And the kind of planning that you do, every time we have a get together of the parents, and we hear Chaitanya talk about it, he knows what kind of questions the parents are going to ask, and he comes prepared with all those answers. And he says any questions, he's answered all our questions, so we don't have any questions as such. So that's really good, and the kind of planning that he does in terms of letting each batch after 5 minutes, or the way you conduct your cultural activities, where you have an hour, and the way you club the students together, and then call the parents. Though you had limited space at that point in time before your new facility came up, was really amazing. I think those are the features that's got us stuck to this school. A lot of people who don't know, like my parents keep telling, hey, Chitrakoota, nobody's heard about it. Why don't you actually put them to new public school and all that? I say, so this happened last year when my parents said, no, you should put them to some, higher school and all that. So I called my kids, they're like 4 years old at that time, a year back, and I said, look, I'm going to change the school. I'm going to put you to some new public school. He said, no, I will not go to that school. I said, that's the kind of, confidence that my kids have in coming back to the school and about the school. So, to conclude, I think it's been a good journey so far with Chitrakoota. It's not given me a feeling that my kids are studying in a school. It's like a second home for us, and it's like a family. So we are happy and proud to be a part of the Chitrakoota family.